All right. Hello, everybody. I think we have everybody on board. Um, so, Mahamudra mindfulness. So, maybe yesterday I said um, that I would explain the meaning of mindfulness and explain the meaning of Mahamudra. And I would like to start by explaining the meaning of Mahamudra. Mahamudra is a Sanskrit word that literally means great seal, not the animal, but but kind of it's a, you could perhaps use a synonym that it's great accomplishment. Just like Mahasandhi, which is Sanskrit for Chokchen, it means great perfection. So Mahamudra, it's kind of this, in yoga, in different types of yoga, there are different hand gestures, mudras, um, sometimes even yoga postures, asanas, are called mudras. You have different kinds of postures. So the word mudra is used in different ways. And so what Mahamudra, what it means, this great seal, great accomplishment, is it refers to Mahasiddhi, this attainment of Buddhahood, meaning realizing emptiness of all mind phenomena. So, in our training, our practitioners, Pemako practitioners, have awakening experiences, so-called Bhumi openings, and then also other type of awakening experiences which are called Bhumi perfections. So we have Bhumi openings and Bhumi perfections, these Bhumi events. And during those events, we always see, glimpse, get a chance to recognize the nature of mind, the Buddha within, Buddha nature, in a complete way. Because what happens during these Bhumi events is that the self-based mind, the whole of it, ceases to be for a while. And I use the word cease because that's also ceasing of all mind habits, cessation. It's nirodha in Sanskrit. It's a widely used term in Buddhist yogas. So my point is that we glimpse this nature of mind, we glimpse this great seal, this Mahamudra, through our practice. But there is a very curious and particular requirement for getting to the accomplishing the great accomplishment, and that is the maturity of heart, compassion, bodhicitta. So, somebody might look at this recording in YouTube and think that, okay, so I'll just drop my whatever meditation or mindfulness practice and then start practicing Mahamudra, and if I do this Mahamudra type of mindfulness, I'm all good, and then I'll accomplish it. But it's not like that. It's not like this. This is not mind training, meditation practice, Dharma practice is not about, it's not like, in a sense, it is like a play or a game, but you can't really play it like you play, well, sometimes, not that often actually, it hasn't happened that many times, but sometimes somebody comes to our Sangha and takes up our practices and kind of starts chasing Bhumi openings, starts chasing Bhumi events. So kind of starts playing, doing the practice as it was a play or a game that you then advance and then you feel good about because you advance in the game. And maybe with that mindset, maybe you do well for some time, but sooner or later, probably sooner, you're gonna hit a plateau. Because if you only try to figure it out with your mind, getting to the next level after next level, very masculine mindset, you're definitely gonna plateau. But fortunately, like I said, I don't see this just every now and then. But the thing is that there is this requirement of developing heart and developing compassion, developing kindness towards ourselves, and especially developing kindness and compassion towards others, which is the requirement so that you get to the great seal or great accomplishment, great perfection. There is no way you will attain it without it. And this is, of course, I've been talking about this, making this very clear that Bodhisattva vows and the bodhicitta, this view of compassion, it's really the dividing line, what separates the classical Buddhist vehicle, the old vehicle, from the great vehicle, from the Hinayana, the classical vehicle, from Mahayana. And tantric practice is it's part of Mahayana. So Vajrayana is part of Mahayana. It's just a tantric expression of Mahayana. But Mahamudra is it's tantric practice. There is no Mahamudra, there is no Chokchen, there is no tantric practice without getting transmission from one's teacher. Transmission, meaning that without the teacher giving the so-called direct introduction or pointing out instructions, where the teacher actually introduces the student to her or his nature of mind. Without that, there is no Mahamudra, there is definitely no Chokchen and no Tantra. And in Tantra, of course, you have learned Rainbow Body Yoga. It is done through the deities. So the teacher gives an empowerment of a deity or deities, and when the student then takes up the practice, this nature of mind will be discovered through these deities. So that's the way how it works in Tantra. In Mahamudra and Chokchen, it's just that the teacher kind of hands over the experience of the nature of mind being recognized to the student or students. But my point is that there are these requirements. First, you have to have a grand view. You have to include everybody. You can't just do this for yourself. If you try to do any tantric practices or Ati Yoga practice, Chokchen practice, just focusing on your own liberation, you will develop to a certain point, but there will, like I said, there will be a point when you necessarily plateau, and even if you try to do nature of mind practices, you won't. You will only recognize it partially. So this is really like a dividing line. What necessarily defines different vehicles in Buddhist Dharma, Buddhist Yoga. That's just how it is. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking that as you know, we have people in different stages of practice joining this retreat. Some of you are completely new to practice, some of you are already knocking the door to Buddhahood. And but then I thought that if we just sat and did this Mahamudra mindfulness practice it would inevitably mean that some of you sink into the mud of subconscious mind, mud of substrate consciousness, and get stuck there, and you would not be able to recognize it. So I was thinking that um, on this retreat I want to focus on this silent sitting, but again, having said that, if we want to practice mindfulness as it is understood and practiced in Mahamudra, then we need to have the heart, we need to have compassion, and this will also help you to keep your nose above the water so that you don't sink, at least not so badly, to the mud of the subconscious mind. So this is why I have my trusted warhorse here in front of me, and I think that we should start the day by saying some prayers, generating bodhicitta, and then chanting some bodhicitta prayers. So let's do that. Align your posture. We'll relax for a few moments. Release at least some of those programs, those apps of minds and emotions. The Samsaric Mind app, release it at least to some degree during the next few minutes. We don't need that app now, and it doesn't even need to be running in the background. Even what I said just now to somebody who's a complete beginner might sound like, well, what does that mean? What did he just tell me to do? So what I just expressed in a different way what we already did yesterday with the relaxation. Eyes, jaws, head, and the rest of the body. Just relax as deeply as you can, in the best of your ability. Just let tensions bubble out from your system. If you feel like taking deep breaths, which often happens, when we sit down and start to sit still, we feel like doing this a few times. If that happens, just do it, follow it. So as we sit like this, the spine aligned, that's very important. So if you are new to sitting practice, you have to learn to, yesterday when we started, I was talking about finding the sitting bones in the lower part of your buttocks and letting the weight of the trunk rest on the sitting bones. This is very important to learn so that your posture is properly composed, properly aligned. When the spine, the trunk is properly aligned, then this allows you to relax all muscles of the belly and all muscles around the solar plexus. If there is some tension that you have to use the stomach muscles, keep them a bit tense to hold the posture. Tensions in the belly, they will keep you tense. The mind just doesn't calm down and become as clear. So there's a good reason and reasons for aligning the spine, the trunk, so that you can relax the belly, you can relax the chest and shoulders, so that the shoulders kind of settle down into the the shoulder joint socket, or what do you call it? Then it's easy to just let the arms hang. Kind of let them hang heavily with the whole mass of the arms. Same thing with the legs. And also, when the spine is well aligned, it is easy for the head to rest on the neck vertebrae and the rest of the vertebrae. So the head is kind of naturally set on top of the spine. So it kind of feels like you're sitting without weight. Kind of, a little bit like that. It's sort of like the body becomes weightless, although at the same time, when the body is completely relaxed, it feels heavy also. Weightless but heavy. Remind yourself about relaxing eyes, jaws, and head in general. Being relaxed doesn't mean not having any sensations. I'll repeat that. Being relaxed doesn't mean not having any sensations. So you will have sensations, you will have some sense of flow in the physical system as well as in the subtle body. You will have sensations. So don't try to get rid of them. Just release tensing, release gripping, needless gripping, release needless holding. All right, so now we have spent a few minutes calming down the system, and you should be able to feel that there is some difference compared to what it was 10 minutes ago, right? If you don't notice any difference, then you didn't do the exercise or you don't understand the exercise that we just did. So in that case, you have to do it again and keep practicing it so that you really experience relaxation and calming down. This is not difficult at all, but in the modern world, people are so out of touch of their bodies and their minds that I have, during my career of teaching, also seen people who just don't get anywhere with the first tries. There are people like that. So if you have that problem, then you just need to learn. You need to, in short, you need to make contact with your body. Also, what is very common is that sometimes people have told me that, for example, that I can't feel my legs at all. You know, when they open their eyes and look down, of course the legs are there, but when they close their eyes and sit still and try to feel the insides of the legs, they can't feel it. It's sort of like they're not there. They're not there after all. And this is simply a sign that you're out of touch of your body. You're not really in your body, not to even speak of embodying your body. So in this case, you have plenty to work with. But, you know, there have been people before us who've had the same problem and certainly will be people after us, so it's doable. No one is hopeless. All right, so about heart, about compassion, about kindness. So in Pemako we have the most basic form of to express compassion is the relative bodhicitta prayer. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. And what is really important is not how you formulate your care and concern. Is not what is not important is how you verbalize it, but that you actually should feel it. I often say that compassion or bodhicitta needs to be genuine. Like I was just saying, that this is not like a game where you try to achieve one level after the other. This is about developing genuine character, genuine love, genuine compassion, so that you really feel more and more that, first of all, that we're all connected, and that you feel the responsibility as a practitioner that you want to try to help somehow. You try to do something about this samsara that is also needless. It needn't be that way. So the most basic form of the prayer is may all beings be free, but as most of you already know, I often verbalize it in very different ways. And like I said, the verbalized form, the form of the prayer or formlessness of the prayer doesn't really matter. What matters is what you feel in the heart. And I think it's best to start from really the basics, which is that we need to feel and be in connection with the suffering of our own and suffering of others, so that our heart kind of like a spark is ignited in the heart, and that flame of compassion comes into being. So let's start from there. Really Mahayana meditation basics. So we are sitting here and we are practicing the Dharma, practicing yoga, practicing meditation because we feel awful, because we suffer because of this self-delusion. Right? We do this practice because us ourselves, we are in pain. But the way how Mahayana vehicle views this whole situation is that the reason why bodhicitta is taught and emphasized is because there is this understanding that we are in this together with all other beings, with all other people, with all life surrounding us, around us. So feel into the space around you, the space where your building is, the space where the next buildings are, around the building where you're in at now. Feel into the space of your village, town or city. Feel into the space of your country. Just feel, just listen to that space. This space is there are other people there. Non-physically there are beings in other forms of existence there. Just feel into the space surrounding you. Left, right, back, front, below, above. Three-dimensional space around you. So this space is inhabited by people. Feel their energy, feel their minds, feel their emotional state. Don't worry, you are not taking any energy or karma. Nothing sticks into your system. You don't have to be scared about that. It's just that we are trying to find a reason why bodhicitta is taught in Mahayana vehicle. So you simply feel into the space where other people, beings are, and then feel their emotional state, their minds. And see how it affects you. See how when it meets with your heart inside your chest, how does it feel like? How does it touch your heart? How does it make you feel as a practitioner, as a fellow human being? So, just to clarify, we don't actually have to, gather the people of the next building on the marketplace and then, try to teach them, or we don't have to, figuratively speaking, carry them on our backs. This is not our responsibility. Every everybody has responsibility of their own, but the point here, the point with bodhicitta is that we get connected with other beings, and when we feel their pain, their suffering, their anguish, their confusion, it touches our heart, and it doesn't make us feel indifferent, but it makes us feel concerned. It brings out care, concern towards them, and love. Oh shit, everybody has the same problem, like I do. Everybody's in this mess of self-based reactions, confusions, emotion after emotion. Bloody hell. I feel like I want to do something about it. Something. So what happens here is that one of the, well, actually the main deity of Mahayana Buddhist Dharma is Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara literally means Lord who hears the cries from below. Lord Ishvara who hears the cries coming from below. We are already now kind of embodying Avalokiteshvara because we are listening to those cries from our fellow beings. So check, how do you feel in your mind right now? Same or different than during the relaxation? Same or different than before when we started this session? How does this experience of hearing the cries, feeling the pain and suffering of others, how does it make you feel? Here also, if you have difficulty of feeling anything and you're new to practice, don't worry. It doesn't mean that you it doesn't mean that you have, it doesn't necessarily mean anything except that you have to develop some sensitivity to be able to feel something. So don't worry about that if you're not feeling anything. But having said that, um, try to sense, if you're not feeling anything, try to sense in a new way. Kind of really open yourself up and let that information come to you rather than you chasing it. Just being open and recepting for our surroundings, people and beings in it, and then letting that information come to you, coming to your heart, and then feeling, how does it taste like and feel like. It's a really lovely energy in the group. Really lovely Avalokiteshvara energy. Genuine compassion. You did this exercise well. So let's move on to the prayer. So if we don't understand this, what we just did, if we never did this little experiment of feeling into the pain of others, of course, when we look at people and how they conduct themselves, how they conduct their lives, their relationships, we can see that there's like shitloads of trauma and confusion in there, and that's why people, you know, have really hard time not making their lives a mess. I have plenty of experience of that myself, and I'm sure everybody here does. So, even if we know that people are kind of running around like headless chickens, making a mess, one mess after the other, this is like what we just did is like a meditative way um, to figure out what's the reason why bodhicitta is exercised. So I think that it's very important to have this experience and come back to this experience again and again and again, so that your heart keeps developing and you keep maturing in this bodhicitta, because that bodhicitta is the nature of mind. That compassion is the same as nature of mind, as Buddha nature, which is the solution to all our existential problems. So that's the secret, what I just told you there. So if we just keep, saying, may all beings be free, may all beings be free, may all beings be happy and kind and prosperous and everything, if we say that merely verbally without our hearts being in it, then it's just words, doesn't mean anything. And there are too many practitioners around the world who have done it exactly like that, some for years or decades, and it doesn't work because the heart's not in it. There's no transformation if the heart's not in it, if there's no energy in it, if there's no meaning put into it. The energy and the meaning has to be there so that the prayer, however it's verbalized, becomes, do you say, potent, that it becomes alive, that it has power. So, oh yes, I got distracted when I was saying that. So the way how yogis, Mahayana Dharma practitioners look at this is that everybody has their own responsibility. My neighbor or neighbors or people of my city, I cannot take them like a god and just remove all their suffering. I cannot do that. Actually, nobody can. So don't try to take that kind of responsibility, which is impossible. So every individual has responsibility of their own, but what is done with bodhicitta is that you develop your own character, you develop your own heart by doing this, by feeling the pain and then wishing liberation to others. And what happens there is that our own subconscious mind becomes visible, comes to our reach. And this is the difference between the classical vehicle and the great vehicle. In classical vehicle, you could say that a large part of their subconscious mind goes unnoticed and disregarded because there is no compassion. So in technical terms, the bhumis 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 10, it's kind of like the swampland, like in Lord of the Rings. Frodo is taking the ring to the Mountain of Doom, and there's this big swamp at some point of the trip before getting there. It's kind of like that swamp is bhumis 7, 8, 9, 10, swampland. But so in Hinayana, in classical vehicle, they don't have knowledge about this swampland. In Mahayana, we do. So bodhicitta is a way to uncover, to reveal that swampland so that you can deal with it, so that you can apply vipassana into it. Okay, so the prayer. So what you can do on these retreats, I often say the prayers on behalf of everybody, but if you wish, you can also repeat what I say or repeat the prayer bits, what I say, in your own mind, silently. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Put some juice into those wishes. Put some meaning into them, energy into them. May all beings be free and happy. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings, myself included, be free of suffering. May all beings, myself included, be free of traumatic pain. With these simple prayers, we've kind of sent our spiritual dharmic missiles away. See what's the effect of doing this. See what's your experience. Simply feel what you are experiencing, what is felt in the body, what is felt in the heart, and simply be aware of the experience you're having, of the energy you're feeling. So you're not thinking about stuff, your mind, your awareness is engaged with this energetic experience that came by applying these prayers. as you can experience, when you do it properly, it's quite intense. It feels good also. It feels like medicine is pumped into your system. Not the kind of medicine that has side effects, but nectar like medicine. Medicine that only heals. Medicine that has no side effects. So we applied, we generated bodhicitta. We wished happiness and liberation, freedom, as well as getting free of trauma to ourselves and all beings. You know, we are actually included in all beings, right? So it's not like in the basic form of the prayer, may all beings be free. It's not like we separate ourselves from all beings and only tell it to others, other all beings. No, we are included in it already. May all beings be free means myself and everybody else. So if somebody, if this was news, good that you heard it now, good that you understood it now. But there is something, so there are bodhisattva vows also where we who practice Mahayana, we actually vow, I vow to liberate all sentient beings. So maybe I'll talk about that more because it kind of, otherwise we run out of time today. But so there is the vow, which is again different between classical vehicle and great vehicle of practice. But there is also that in our everyday practice we generate this bodhicitta. And it has two purposes. One is that we stretch our subtle body open. That's one planned before Mordor, before Pure Land. We open it up. This is one purpose. The second purpose is that it is difficult to say exactly what our prayers, what they accomplish in the outer world. It is difficult to say if our neighbors, people of our city, country, if they actually get benefits from it or not. But what is certainly true is that these incredibly pure Buddhic, non-samsaric energies spread out like the light of the sun, non-physically. That is certainly true. If you can perceive, and this is again, it's not difficult at all. This is not a secret in any way. If you can perceive it, you can feel that it spreads like sunlight, non-physically. And just like sunlight, it illuminates everything. And in that way, our prayers, that pure energy, it spreads around us. And this is why, you know, homes of practitioners feel like temples, even if they're not consecrated, charged, purposefully, they feel like pure, like in a temple. Because somebody's cultivating this pure love, pure energy there, it sticks into the furniture and walls, to the apartment, to the house. So that is one, you know, that is one reason behind doing this, or two reasons behind doing this. Then there's also dedication of merit. What does it mean, dedication of merit? So we generate this energy, we have this motivation to attain Buddhahood, to attain full enlightenment for the sake of others, and it creates this strong, pure energy. And when we dedicate merit, it's like sharing it with all other beings. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. May all beings receive the merit that I have accumulated. The merit, it can be explained in different ways. In one way, it kind of means willingness and readiness. So let's say somebody who wants to start practicing and keeps practicing has readiness, is ready to practice, is ready to face and deal with the darkness and the demons that are inside us. This is merit in one sense. But also when we dedicate the merit, we share that pure enlightened energy with others. We kind of give it to others. This is a revolutionary thing that only practitioners do. People of samsara, beings of samsara don't do this. Rather they grab and get attached to what they have. Be it in whatever form. Be it money, be it objects, things, love. They want to have it for me, or have it only with my family or my team or my countrymen. Me, mine, mine. Same story. But that's the reason why I say revolutionary, is that not only you develop this pure energy, you generate and cultivate this pure energy, but you share it with others. Here, you need this as much as I do. Here, have some. That old person next door, that sick person you saw yesterday, those addicts that are always hanging around at the station, those gangs. We have some gangs here in Tikkurila, Vantaa. So may they have some. May just common folk who are, I don't mean to criticize anybody's way of life, but it's a good question whether people who have 9 to 5 lives, if they are truly satisfied and happy or not. So may also common people who go about their everyday activities the way they do, may they have some. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. Repeat that with me. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. Again, as you can feel, this is already quite intense energetically. When these Mahayana prayers are understood, what they mean, and you mingle with the energies that are generated, it's quite intense. And this is the reason why potentially Mahayana is a way to Buddhahood. People who practice Mahayana should know how to apply, how to mingle. They should know that there are these charges with the basic prayers and that they should absorb every bit of those charges into their body, mind, hearts. May all Mahayana practitioners, may all meditators, Dharma practitioners of the world come to understand this one way or the other. Because otherwise, there's not much point practicing. It's just going through the motions without this understanding. May all beings be free. May Dharma practitioners also become free. Freer, freer, free. Stay with it. Lie down, make yourself comfortable. Lie down for 15 minutes. Stay with the energetic experience, and I will let you know when to get up. Let's continue for a while more before the break. So yeah, we haven't gotten to the chanting yet. I was just thinking as we were resting there, I was thinking about what chanting does. And I think many of you have seen or heard about the study conducted by a Japanese doctor called Masaru Emoto. Masaru Emoto. He published like 10-15 years ago, he published a couple of books where he presented his study of, he had been exposing water to different emotions basically, expressed through different words. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard of this? Okay, so some of you haven't. So this Japanese doctor, he had like some containers of water, and then I don't remember how they actually conducted it, if the words were recorded and the recording was played for the water, or there was some person, you know, speaking to the water or chanting or singing in front of the water. But they tested like something very simple. For example, repeating the word love for the water, exposing the water to the word love for some period of time, and then they froze the water, and then they studied the frozen water under a microscope. And similarly, they exposed the water to a bunch of other words that have a positive meaning, and also words that have negative meaning, like hate or anger or something like that. They also sung different songs, like different types of songs, exposed the water to different kinds of music. Let's say something really joyful music or something really dark and heavy music. But also exposed the water to prayers and mantras. And what happened was that when they took photos of the kide, what's that? Like what? Like the frozen water, these really tiny particles of frozen water. What they found out was that the shape of the, I don't have a word for kide. It's like these snowflakes in the frozen water in ice. They could see that the waters that had been exposed to positive words, prayers, mantras had really beautiful, kind of like beautiful shape and geometric shape, exactly like mandalas and yantras, some other spiritual geometric figures, while those that had been exposed to negative words, some dark music, dark sounds, they had, you know, it was crooked and there was no geometric, they weren't geometric, they weren't beautiful. So this is just one way to, you know, to scientifically, using a very simple scientific method to exemplify and study what happens with good motivations, bad motivations, different mind states, different energies. So this is kind of my long, not long, but my introduction to what chanting does. Of course, this happens already. Our whole system gets affected by the immensely positive power of mantras, prayers, bodhicitta, guru blessings, all of this. But I feel that And as you know, if you've done retreats with me before, I often still, even if I feel that the whole group has gotten a powerful charge, I like to do some chanting. And the reason for this is that I want to get the charge into the body as well, into the cells of the body, into the water of the body, into the physical elements of the body. Okay? And I have written a little bit about something called bone vibration, which simply means that when we sing, chant something, our bones, our whole body begins to vibrate, but also the bones vibrate. And this is very beneficial. It has healing effects, it has clarifying effects in terms of the mind, it makes the body soft. So just a little tip, I'm at the moment creating a method of spiritual athletics. I've done a lot of athletics in different forms through my life, and I'm creating a method how to use some spiritual tools, simple spiritual tools to make one's practice of some form of exercise or athletics a much more profound experience. And one of these is bone vibration. If you can try today, if you do some form of exercise after the retreat, that when you get tired or about to get exhausted, chant a little bit of something out loud, and you will see that the bone vibration sheds off a lot of the tensions. And this has actually been used in, well, not only in spiritual traditions and shamanic traditions and in history, but even like back in the day when they had chain gangs, like prisoners who were forced to do some kind of manual labor, they sung throughout it. And the reason for that, there's also the concept of work song, which has mostly died. Singing as you do some form of physical labor. I think that the reason behind like a what is it called, like chain gang singing and work songs are because it's a way to stay fresh during physical work, manual labor. And of course, it makes a huge difference if you do physical work or exercise a lot. You don't feel as tired or exhausted afterwards. So it makes a huge difference in terms of recuperation and the work or exercise that is coming the next day. So yeah. So let's get to that chanting bit. May all beings be free, chanting that. And again, when you chant it, mean it. You don't have to overdo it, like you don't have to put too much energy into it. Well, maybe actually that's a good experience too. What is enough? What is too much? But nevertheless, chant it like you mean it. May all beings be free. 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 So again, due to the use of physical voice, audible voice, as well as due to bone vibration, the experience of this prayer, bodhicitta, is different, isn't it? Now, if we took some of the water in the body, froze it and put it under microscope, we would see those beautiful mandalas and yantras. Even though this experience is energetic, we are working with the energetic charge that we have generated through our praying and chanting. This is not tantric practice yet. There is no guru blessings or deity charge going on. It's all something that we have generated ourselves. So this is still sutric practice, Mahayana practice, not yet Vajrayana.
Stay with it and again lie down. I'll let you know.